So this Thursday, I'm speaking at the Future of Cybersecurity London at Prospero House. The lineup is genuinely brilliant. Joe Tidy from the BBC, Sarah Davies from Dragon's Den, Glenn Wilkinson, and me. I'll be making the case that your people aren't your security problem, but your most underinvested asset. It's something I care a lot about, and I'd love to see you there. And while I've got you, if you've been thinking about speaking at a security event and just haven't quite gotten around to it, the SANS Security Awareness Summit in Vegas has an open call for presenters right now. They mentor you through the whole thing. First-time speakers are genuinely welcome, and you can do it virtually if jumping on a plane to Las Vegas feels a bit much. The call for presenters closes the 3rd of April. Both links are in the show notes. And now on with the show. You're listening to The Awareness Angle, the podcast that gives you the weekly cyber news from the human perspective. This week, AI is making headlines on both sides of the security fence. Hackers are using it to breach governments, and North Korea are using it to fake entire identities. We've also got 2 massive data breaches where the real story isn't the hack itself, but what happened afterwards, plus a phishing campaign so clever it disguises itself as a warning. Lots to get into on this week's The Awareness Angle. With me, as always, is, of course, my partner in cybercrime prevention, Mr. Luke Pettigrew. Hello, Luke. How you doing?
Hey, Ant. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So remember, all thoughts and opinions, of which we have many, are our own and do not represent those of our employers. Please don't fire us, is essentially what we say with that. So let's get on with this week's breach of the week. So, Star Citizen Studios suffered a data breach in January, and some players aren't happy with the very quiet disclosure that only happened this week. So, game developer Cloud Imperium Games says it suffered a data breach, it suffered a cyber attack on the 21st of January this year that allowed unauthorized access to some backup systems linked to Star Citizen player accounts. The company says only basic account information such as names, usernames and contact details and dates of birth was accessed, and that no passwords or payment information was exposed. However, some players have criticised the studio for the 6-week delay in disclosure and for quietly notifying users via an account pop-up rather than an email or on social media. That's an interesting one, isn't it? It's an account that, I don't know, I question, surely there's guidelines on how you notify users that their details have been involved in a data breach?
Yeah, you'd think maybe not through that platform would be the right way to do it, but
yeah.
That's not great.
The breach was reported in a message on the Roberts Space Industries website, and the message says on the 21st of January 2026, CIG was targeted by a systematic and sophisticated attack, resulting in unauthorized access to backup systems. They acted quickly to contain the activity and block further access to this data and CIG systems, and we have refreshed security settings to ensure there's no threat to our games or our users. We do not consider this poses a risk to the safety of our users. The data impacted relates only to basic account details. So, that's essentially, they're monitoring the situation and the systems to ensure that no further things occur. And this is a report from PC Gamer, although I'm also seeing now that there's an article on the Register. Gamers furious as indie studio Cloud Imperium quietly admits to data breach. So,
there's only data that can be used to pretend to be from their company, and there's your account's at risk. Click here to fix it or something. But it's crazy as well that they left it so long. Could have surely notified and just said that we're investigating something. Here's a heads up. Look out for dodgy emails.
That's what the Register says. The Register says that where they've said they consider They do not consider the incident poses a risk to the safety of our users because it's only basic account details, contact details, username, date of birth, and name. The register then says that's an optimistic response because contact details, names, and date of births are all that's needed to craft a convincing phishing campaign. So, yeah, and you can add that to other data scraped from other places, and it just...
Yeah, you probably get someone's login to their account and stuff, right?
I can picture Leslie Nielsen in front of a burning house going, everything's fine, move on, like that classic meme of like, nothing to see here, move along. It's like, no, yeah. So look, if you are a Star Citizen player and you have missed the pop-up, take this as your breach notification that your data has been compromised, and check your notifications to see what's happening. It's commenters in the game's forum. Where is the email and front page notice? Thunders the first comment in a thread. What upsets me is the lack of communication. And after a month, you get a basically hidden message that something happened. So yeah, not great on their part, really. Breach notifications are really, really important, especially if you want to maintain a good relationship with your customer. So
yeah,
that is this week's Breach of the Week. So let's move on with some news. And
cool.
It's you.
Yeah, so first one we've got hackers have used Claude AI to breach 10 Mexican government agencies, stealing data on 195 million people. So this one's quite an interesting one, quite a big one. So this is Security Week have reported this one to say that they've used Claude Code, the agentic assistant, and essentially, it says here, beginning in late December 2025, it targeted 10 government bodies and financial institutions. So it includes Mexico City's Civil Registry and Health Department, National Electoral Institute, local governments in 4 cities, and a water utility company. And it says here that Gambit, don't know if they're a cybersecurity researcher potentially, but they've analysed the attackers' logs. Over 1,000 prompts were sent to Claude Code to mount these attacks, and some information was analysed with ChatGPT as well. But basically, they used Claude Code to function as an entire team, which sort of did all the sort of investigating, writing of exploits and building various things, and automating a lot of what they've done. And basically, it says here that they bypassed the guardrails that you typically have on a AI platform to convince them that these were authorized commands, and essentially abused the AI platform to sort of do this attack, which is quite crazy that could be done. And 150 gig of data, 195 million individuals, which is quite crazy amount of people.
That's a lot, isn't it? Absolutely.
And obviously, I don't think this is sort of over as such. It takes a while for these sort of things to be sort of figured out and see what kind of damage is.
The popular 195 million identities have been exposed in the breach. I've just Googled the population of Mexico, and it's between 132 to 133 million. Right. So that's more identities than the entire population of Mexico. Wow.
Yeah.
That's mad. Yeah.
This is... So I was just saying, just a side note from this story, so it says that it's not the first time hackers have abused Claude with malicious stuff. November 2025, Anthropic revealed that Chinese threat actors also did a very similar thing, and targeted 30 worldwide organizations. So it seems that they haven't fixed their platform to not be abused.
Yeah, negotiating with Claude and any AI tool, this isn't just a Claude problem, like convincing the AI that you are up to good rather than no good can be done, as we've seen. Oh, it's just for simulation purposes or that kind of thing. Like you can make it.
I think it says they were pretending to be penetration testers for a bug bounty.
Yeah.
This
is the problem.
One way around it.
These tools get used for good and for bad, don't they? So, and it just lowers the bar. You don't need a team of experts when you have a tool like this. And if the code is rubbish and doesn't work very efficiently, they don't care. It's not a product they're selling. Essentially, it could become a product they're selling on the black market rather than
coded.
Yeah. The problem is that all that data is out there now, and this is kind of this leans into my whole belief. Like, have I been pwned? So what? Because there comes a point where we've all been pwned, and everybody's data is out there, so you just have to kind of expect that you are now compromised in some way. But it's a lot of data, and tax records, voter data, civil registry files. That's some important stuff right there. So, yeah. Gambit Security are Israeli cybersecurity firm. So that's who Gambit Security are. Yeah, right. Interesting one. So, yeah, anyone in Mexico? We do have listeners in Mexico, so if you're listening in Mexico and you weren't aware that happened, it's happened. So tell your people to be safe and secure and be on the lookout for phishing emails and phishing phone calls and phishing scams, because all this data out there just leads to you getting phished even more. Right, I'll move on to the next one. Fake LastPass support email threads try to steal vault passwords. So I'm not a fan of LastPass, mainly because they got breached and I used to be a customer and I'm not anymore. But the products, they're just a poor victim in a grand scheme of things that have been targeted more than once. They're a well-respected password manager that have survived some controversies that other firms wouldn't have. So well done, LastPass, for surviving. And they give away toothbrushes at conferences, which is cool. Like, you wouldn't share a toothbrush, so don't share a password, which I quite like. LastPass are warning users of a phishing campaign that targets its users with fake unauthorized account access alerts. And you'd have seen these when you get an email that says someone has accessed your account here or there. So the emails impersonate a LastPass representative. They spoof a display name, and they use subject lines that are crafted to mimic forward internal conversations between attackers and the customer support team to request a change of account email address. The email chains are forwarded to the target in an attempt to prompt them to respond to the suspicious activity with urgency and click on links. It's really, I think this is quite a unique and clever approach by the sounds of it. It's not just like a normal standard notification. I'm going to chuck it on screen here so you can see. Don't forget, if you're listening to this on the podcast platforms, we're on YouTube as well, but we'll also put details of this in the newsletter. We'll come to that in a second. So as you can see here, your Vault's master password has been changed. This was processed as part of case TRZ 2026933364 at 8:32 a.m. today. We noticed this address is still listed as Vault owner, but someone else is claiming access. If you're the rightful owner, you should, and then a link, review this and secure your Vault. So this isn't just like some generic, well-crafted, visible, nice visual marketing style email. This is a forwarded part of a conversation that then, like, if we look at the beginning of this conversation, hi, my situation is kind of complicated. My mum passed away last month and I need to access her Vault. She had all her passwords in there, including banking stuff I need to handle for the estate. I don't have her master password, her account email, the plan, roughly how many items she had, and the browser she used, Brave on Windows 10, Firefox 122. Thanks for the details. Verified against our records, I've escalated to the senior team for the final OK to reset. Should be quick. I'll circle back. Hey, just checking in. Sent my details a few days ago. Any update? Hi. Senior team approved it. One last thing. This will revoke all sessions. Your 117 items. Now, that was a guess, first of all. She had maybe 100. How would you know? I don't know how many items I've got in my Vault. Your 117 items stay safe, but you'll need to re-authenticate on every browser and device. Ready to proceed? Okay, that's fine. Just do it. And then, so the first email you get from this whole conversation is your Vault's master password has been changed. Like, immediate panic, immediate distress, immediate WTF moment. And it looks like this is an actual process and the conversation's gone, well, all of this has happened without me knowing. I think that's really clever. I mean, it's scary, but really clever from an attacker's perspective. It's different. I've not seen it like this before. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. No, I've not seen. I mean, obviously, you see that kind of thread usage typically used in phishing scams and stuff, but not around password support tickets and stuff. But I mean, it wasn't the most convincing looking email chain, to be honest, especially Sarah, security, whoever that is. But I guess, yeah, if you're in that moment and you receive that your master password for your vault's changed, you might panic and click. But I think they could have done it, made it a little bit more convincing. But
it could have been.
It's a clever technique, though.
Yeah, and I think the more technical password manager users probably wouldn't fall for that. But like I always say every week, if I shove my mum on a password manager, she'd probably fall for that. Do you know what I mean? Like the more vulnerable users of password managers, of which there are probably many. You know, we're working in technology firms with, you know, where people are used to this kind of tech. But if someone's not used to this tech, they might fall for that. So, and there's a reason LastPass get targeted like that. It's because they are such a big player in this game. You know, it's not necessary. This isn't a vulnerability on their part. So don't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they've been breached before, right? So the potential emails of the users are out there.
That's a really interesting point, actually. People, like, it wouldn't be difficult to find out who is a LastPass user because of data that's been breached previously. Yeah. Cool. Right. So if you're a LastPass customer, keep an eye out. This is an interesting thing to talk about as well because it's a different approach and it's a clever approach, but it pulls all the emotional triggers. Like we say, you know, straight away you're like, my Vault Master password's been changed. What? I haven't done that. Panic, urgency, you know, all that kind of thing. If you're the rightful owner, you should click this link and sign in. And yes, I should click this link and enter my master password. And that's the key to this, right? Because you click that link, it takes you to a website that then asks you to sign in with your master password. And that's the one password you don't want to get out because that's the key to your kingdom, essentially. That's the thing here. Yeah. Right. Okay. On to the next one.
So this one, a little bit of an update on this. Is, I mean, the attack itself happened a long time ago now, but BBC are reporting TfL hack in 2024 affected around 10 million people. So yeah, this article talks about how 10 million people, making it one of the biggest hacks in British history. And at the time, TfL only disclosed that some customers had been affected, and now it's confirmed that it's millions of people whose personal data has been taken there. And this was a cyber attack by a so-called Scat Spider crime group, breaching TfL's internal systems, disrupted its services and caused £39 million in damages. And part of this, they downloaded a database containing customer information, and BBC News got a copy of the file and confirmed the scale of that attack. And it says here that TfL insisted to the BBC that it has kept customers informed throughout this incident and will continue to take necessary action. This attack obviously took place in late August to early September of 2024. And we've spoken plenty of times before about the court cases around the two British teenagers who were accused of that attack. And we spoke before that they pled not guilty, but the trial is set to begin in June of this year for that. But it's quite a large amount of people. This copy of the full TfL database contains names, email addresses, home phone numbers, mobile phone numbers, physical addresses of 10 million people. Quite a lot of information there. It says as well that BBC didn't reveal who shared the database with them, but someone did. And obviously BBC deleted the data after viewing it. It's a huge amount of data there.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because obviously they've got some people in custody for this. And the BBC was contacted by someone in the hacking community who obtained a copy of the full TfL database. That's kind of alluding to the fact that data's still out there, even though they've got a couple of people arrested for it. So, like, that data's still out in the ether. It's not, yes, they've arrested some people on suspicion of performing these tasks. They've pled not guilty, but the data's still out there.
Yeah. This is, just to carry on it, TfL have said it carried out a thorough investigation, refused to give a precise figure for how many people were affected, but they've now admitted that it sent emails to 7,113,429 customers.
Wow.
To notify them of the incident. Interestingly, they've shared some stats. The email had a 58% open rate. So there's quite a large amount of people who haven't seen that notice.
Part of me think that's a really good open rate
for that amount of people.
So 58% is an open rate that I'd be proud of. As far as emails go, that's not bad. But about this, that's millions of people that haven't opened an email, letting them know that they've been compromised.
Yeah, it's interesting with the Star Citizen one we spoke about earlier, right? They said about how didn't email it out, but maybe even then, just under half of the customers wouldn't have read it. But
yeah.
I don't think there's too much more. I mean, basically, the grand scheme of it is that I think at the early times of it, it was identified to be a very low amount of people.
That's sad. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a big figure. And of course, they were cleared by the ICO of doing any wrongdoing. So no fines for TfL, which is, again, interesting. Yeah, they said no further action was needed just a few weeks ago, just last month. And now it comes out that there is actually 7 million. Part of me is thinking like, oh, we're cleared. Okay, now, 7 million emails. It's like, interesting. Yeah. And this is a scary thing, isn't it? Because no one wants to be in that situation. Last year, well, that was 2024, wasn't it? It wasn't even last year, but it says here in the article, which it's Joe Tidy at the BBC has written this article, on a TV interview on the BBC, 6.5 million people were affected by the Co-op breach here in the UK. So that's the Co-op one, which was headline news for days and days, weeks and weeks, wasn't as big as this TfL one, potentially. So that's, and we talked about Asahi previously, 2 million. Odido in the Netherlands has recently been compromised, 6 million customers. I think still holding the crown, though, is Coupang in South Korea, which we spoke about weeks ago, 33 million customers. But then today we have Mexico, which, 160...
Trumps all of them, that does.
100, like bigger than the population of the country, identities released. So that's a really interesting statistic. Madness.
So, next story.
So leading on with the Odido one, I think we talked about Odido previously. I'm pretty sure we did. So Odido is a Dutch telecoms operator. 6.2 million Dutch people have had their details leaked, stolen data set that's available on the dark web. And the data is also popping up apparently on social media. Cyber criminals are taking advantage of this. And Odido customers, they're basically saying Odido customers can expect many scams coming up. This isn't a story, what I'm bringing you isn't the story of the data breach, but it's a story of what can happen after this. Okay, so RTL News received multiple reports of a new Odido-linked scam. So cyber criminals are posing as customer service for Odido, calling victims of the data leak using, I'd like to talk to you about compensation and damages, trying to trick people into giving them bank accounts to receive compensation. So the call starts with an AI voice. Good afternoon, Odido Customer Services. We've been experiencing a lot of problems lately. If you receive this call, you can receive compensation or claims damages. And then if people stay on the line, they get put through to a human who pretends to be an Odido customer service worker that then tries to convince them, okay, I have this compensation fund for you. I'd like to give you your compensation. Can I get your bank details, please? So, and that's the purpose of the scam, essentially, to try and get your bank account or get access to your computer. So apparently 2 weeks ago, there was also a fake website where you could join a fake mass claim against Odido if you paid £50. And we've spoken about, I hate these. Join the claim. There was back, last year we spoke about S and Co-op and we saw it on TikTok. It's like, oh, you can join the claim against us if you're an M&S customer. Your details. Like, no, go away. This is like not good. Well, this one, they're saying join the claim, pay £50, and you could get lots and lots of money back. And I think we did the maths. We talked about it weeks ago on an episode where actually the amount of money you get back in one of these claims might only be £30, £40, because they give a big lump sum and then divide it by everyone. So the full Odido data breach has been uploaded to Have I Been Pwned. So Troy Hunt, who runs Have I Been Pwned, he told RTL that Have I Been Pwned has been accessed almost 2 million times by Dutch people in recent days.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's an interesting one. You don't really hear about AI, like phishing, being used in this way, right? It seems quite like a big scale of it being used here.
I wonder who's behind it, because you would have thought the infrastructure on that. I mean, it says an AI voice.
I guess it could
just be a recorded voice. Yeah. And if someone stays on the line for a certain time, it connects them to a user. Because like that initial call, you'll get people that will just hang up. If someone hangs on the line, listens to the whole thing, and then is still active after a couple of seconds, they're vulnerable. Anyone who isn't vulnerable has hung up and moved along at that point. So yeah. It's I wonder if it says AI. I do wonder, like, it's just an AI recording. It's not an active. Your point is valid. What kind of infrastructure is behind there? But I imagine it's just like, good afternoon, Odido customer services. We've been experiencing a lot. It's just synthetic voice, probably. Yeah. So look, I think that's a really interesting one, because this shows, we talk about breaches all the time, but this just shows how breached data can be used for that kind of second round. And it's that, the first round is a breach, and then the second round is not just phishing. It's not just, it used to be in writing, then it was on emails, now it's the phone. It's, this is just a new evolution of the same scam.
Yeah.
That is the impact of a data breach that Star Citizen said wasn't important. Star Citizen said, and I'm sorry, anyone at Cloud Imperium Games, but it's usernames, contact details, and dates of birth. That's all. Hi, I'm calling from Cloud Imperium Games. Is that Luke Pettigrew? Can I just confirm your username is this and your date of birth is this? Straight away, I sound authentic. Like I've built trust. How do you know all that information? Oh, you must be genuine. You've established that trust. So playing it down.
The customers don't know about the incident, right? And then only 58% open the email.
Or you notify everyone through a little pop-up rather than an actual email. So playing it down, like you can try and play it down, but it's not minor, it's major. Right, let's move on to the next one.
Cool. So the Information Commissioner's Office is contacting Meta after reports that contractors were able to review footage from the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, including highly sensitive recordings, which also included intimate moments accidentally captured by the users. In a panic there, you're telling it to stop recording and you end up going live on Facebook or something. But yeah.
Meta, stop recording. Going live in 3, 2... No, stop.
Yeah, so this is originally investigated by Swedish newspapers. I'm not going to try and pronounce those names of the Swedish newspapers. Essentially, Meta has a subcontractor in Kenya. And as part of, I guess, in the privacy policy that nobody reads, it probably explains what this does, but they share the content to be reviewed, potentially to train the glasses on review footage that gets uploaded to sort of train the AI of what it's looking at. Someone had told them that they'd been reviewing footage and it contained essentially naked people and other situations, even though I think it says that the platform's supposed to blur identities.
So if I had a pair of Meta Ray-Ban glasses, the footage that they record is being reviewed potentially, supposedly, disclaimer, by a third-party contractor in Kenya. So someone at a third-party contractor to Meta could be watching the footage that I'm recording on my Ray-Ban glasses. I'm just that is shocking. I'm not surprised. I get it, but it's also shocking.
So yeah, I mean, Meta have said that subcontractors might sometimes review content, including films and images captured by its glasses, for the purpose of improving the experience. And yeah, there was the report obviously mentioning how these outsourced contractors were able to view footage of the glasses wearers using the toilet, intimate moments. And they said that one of the workers said that we see everything from living rooms to naked bodies. So yeah, Meta have said that they take the protection of people's data very seriously. I do wonder how many people that have the glasses are aware of this is a thing. And as well, they talk, like I mentioned earlier, the platform's supposed to blur faces, but I saw something that said that it doesn't always work, which is amazing.
Anybody that's used a Snapchat filter knows that it doesn't always work, because depending on the lighting and the angle, it'll flick on, flick off, that kind of thing.
So yeah, obviously it says that you have to activate recording manually, which you do through a voice command. But yeah, I'm sure, as it says here, many people won't realise that the content recorded and captured on the glasses are reviewed by a human, which is described in the privacy policy and terms of service, but nobody reads those.
No.
Too excited to put their AI glasses on. But to get back to the part of this story is, the UK Data Watchdog Information Commissioner's Office are investigating it because, devices processing personal data, including smart glasses, should put users in control and provide appropriate transparency. Service providers must clearly explain what data is collected and how it's used. The claims in this article are concerning. We'll be writing to Meta to request information on how it's meeting its obligations under UK data protection law. And so it says as well that Meta have said, unless the user chooses to share media they've captured with Meta or others, the media stays on the device. So I guess it's one of those tick boxes that's like, do you want to improve the experience of users? Yes or no? People.
Is it actually informed consent, or is it just
it's hidden away?
Yeah.
Wow. So there's a bit more to this story. We'll see how that progresses.
And this is Meta. This is like one of the largest tech companies in the world that are gathering this data, which is scary, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and then it's being processed by a third party to annotator, a company called Salma, which has a history in data annotation. They also review transcripts of questions asked to the Meta AI. They've basically seen extremely sensitive footage through the glasses. It mentions here, in one instance, a worker told the newspapers that a man's glasses were left recording in the bedroom, and where they later filmed a woman undressing. And it says here as well how the glasses have a little indicator light to show that when they're on and recording. I've seen people offering services to remove that light because obviously people don't want people to know that they're recording. And I think in some cases, like certain countries and stuff, you're probably not really allowed to do it in certain scenarios. But obviously people are modifying their glasses to stop that from being obvious. But yeah,
I've seen things on TikTok of people wearing smart glasses, filming, like interviewing women and saying stuff to women.
Yeah, there was a news story recently, wasn't there, about that?
There was, yeah. I think that's what it was, like without their consent.
Yeah, end up on TikTok or social media.
Yeah. Like, it's just, what is this? But this is Meta. This is one of the big tech companies, right?
Well, yeah.
Other people make smart glasses too, and that's the concern.
I'm sure there are no brand names behind it, unsecured databases of you have no idea where your data's going. I mean, if Meta are doing this, what are other companies doing?
I'm just checking. You got me wondering. Once I get through the million pop-ups,
because I mean, the Meta glasses are like £300, £400, right? And then you can probably get a pair for £50 on Temu. That
with these
people are going to buy.
Meta did a deal with Luxottica, didn't they? So Luxottica owned brands like Oakley and Ray-Ban. So when we say Meta glasses, we're talking about Ray-Ban smart glasses and Oakley smart glasses. But then if you go to AliExpress, you can buy an Air 3S Pro. I mean, this looks like
Page hasn't updated. If you click
you can buy this looks like a legit Apple product, doesn't it? The Air 3S Pro. Ray Neo Air 3S Pro. TCL, no shade at TCL, you know, they're a large company, but again, data analysis to make the product better. And that's the angle they take on this, isn't it? It's all about improving the product and, you know, the captures. We've been clicking on fire hydrants and buses every time we go to a capture to train an AI. That's you're training a computer to identify objects, crosswalks and bridges. We're just training probably from mapping, you know, on that case. But it's our interactions with all of this is just training it more. So smart glasses, it's scary, really. You don't know who's wearing them or who's not. That's the problem with that's the problem with them now. Back when it was a HoloLens or a Google glasses, you know, the first ones that came out, you could kind of tell. But now they just look like glasses. You can't tell, especially if people are I didn't know about the deactivating the red light, the recording light.
Yeah.
That's crafty.
Yeah, that's quite a scary one. It's like a PSA for anybody with Meta smart glasses, really.
Yeah.
And if you see someone recording you with it,
make sure you turn them off before you put them on the bedside table.
Yeah, put them in the case, the charging case or something.
Yeah. Right, moving on to the last news story tonight. This morning. It's morning. I don't know why I said tonight. This one's from The Guardian. North Korean agents using AI to trick Western firms into hiring them. This shouldn't be new news for anyone, but this is according to Microsoft. This is a new article. So fake IT workers deployed by North Korea are using AI technology, including voice changing tools, to trick Western companies into hiring them. Microsoft have said that a signature Pyongyang money-raising ruse is being enhanced by AI, which is helping to create fake names and alter stolen IDs to increase the credibility of applicants, largely for IT and software development jobs. So they'll get the job and then all the money will go back to North Korea. So they're using voice-changing software during remote interviews to mask accents, which allows them to pass as Western candidates. They also use the AI app Face Swap to insert the faces of North Korean IT workers into stolen identity documents and to generate polished headshots for CVs. So Microsoft listed a number of AI-related scams used by North Korean groups called Jasper Sleet and Coral Sleet. And this is in line with the convention of cybersecurity analysts giving monikers to unnamed clusters of assailants. Yeah. So, it's Microsoft. An interesting one on this. Microsoft said last year it disrupted 3,000 Outlook or Hotmail accounts used by fake Korean IT workers. So that's a nice way of doing it. You can no longer access this email account that you've been using to scam someone. The AI platforms generate culturally appropriate name lists and matching email address formats. So the company said an example prompt might be create a list of 100 Greek names and create a list of email addresses, formats using the name Jane Doe. And then using AI, they also scour for jobs. So if you're in an organization, there's not loads to say on this. This isn't really new, but this is something you really, really need to talk to your recruitment teams, your people functions. This is out there. Anyone doing any kind of job recruitment, you need to be aware of this. And it says here as well, the fake workers then use AI to write emails, translate documents, and generate code as they attempt to stave off being discovered as fraud or sacked for poor performance. So,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Like you said, we've spoken before about other companies talking about this sort of thing where you end up accidentally hiring someone who's not who they say they are.
Yeah. And it says companies are urged to carry out job interviews for IT workers on video or in person. Well, don't just do it by email, obviously. And then look for tells such as pixelization at the edges of faces, eyes, ears and glasses, and inconsistencies on how light interacts with an AI-generated face. I think the awesome, like, it's going to become normal for us to ask someone to put their hand in front of their face or like cover half of their face. Because if you do that, any filter will glitch. And I've seen videos of people getting caught out with that before. So it's just going to become, okay, we need to perform an AI check. Can you do a star jump for me, followed by 5 burpees? And then can you stick your tongue out and, or pat your head or something? Yeah, it's going to be, but we're going to need to do it to know if it's genuine or not. I love remote working, but it comes with a risk. So.
Yeah.
Right. That's all the news for this week. We have a new section. We have Phish of the Week. So the threat intelligence team at Hoxhunt have shared some details with us. The idea is we'll make this a new regular feature where we can look at a phishing email of the week. And this is something that the threat intelligence team at Hoxhunt have discovered. So unlogged work hours notification. And this is QR code phishing, okay? So the details are personalized for each recipient, including the company logo. So, Luke, if we were to receive this would have a risky creative logo at the top. Obviously, we don't log work hours, but larger companies do. And then each recipient receives a unique QR code that contains the email address and directs them to a credential harvesting site. So these are all created en masse, unique trackers within that QR code. So when you scan that QR code, they know it's you that's received this. More interestingly, it then takes you to a credential harvesting site. And here you can see step 2 is credential harvesting. Scanning the QR code takes you to a fake login page made to look like the company sign-in portal with the email address filled in. So the chances are this image you see behind the login will be just like your company sign-in portal. If you're a Microsoft O365 customer, chances are you've customized that with an image, unique to your business. So it will look really, really genuine. So what do? How can you tell? Check the URL. That's the main thing on that, isn't it? The malicious URL at the top. Check the URL, see if it's legit. QR code phishing is something that it didn't used to be a thing, but now more and more, because QR codes don't typically, not all security tools can read QR codes in emails, can they? So
it's interesting though, because just typically scan a QR code, you're going to use your phone, right? And you may not see the domain as sort of obviously, and the website will be formatted a bit smaller and stuff, so you kind of maybe just think it's a bit more genuine.
What an amazing point. But also, you're not used to seeing it on your phone necessarily. So if it looks unusual, you kind of expect it to look different because you're on your phone, you're not on your usual control plane. So
and obviously your email's pre-filled, so it kind of adds a bit of trust to it. But I think it just shows, people should be using passkeys is a good example here, right? If you have a passkey, you no longer log in with your password. So I guess, that's one way to stop it in a way. But
I wonder how long it is till Windows and macOS or Chrome and Safari have a QR code, like where you can just click on a QR code and it takes you to a link. So you don't have to scan it anymore. Like, for example, on that email, there's a QR code there, but what's to say I couldn't, how long is it till I can just click on that QR code or interact with that in a way that it takes me to it?
Not a thing already. It's probably a browser extension that does it.
I would imagine so. Yeah, don't download it just in case.
No.
It's
I'm surprised. I don't think I've ever seen a warning when scanning a QR code. Just be like, careful, this might be dodgy.
No.
Like if the email showed it kind of knows.
This is another reason to get you off your device as well, isn't it? Because if I'm on a corporate device, I'll have CrowdStrike installed or Cloudflare or, a whole bunch of corporate security tools installed in a corporate device to detect malicious sites. I'm pretty sure if I visited a malicious site on a corporate device, there's a good chance, depending on the tools, that it would block it. Doesn't exist on a mobile phone, especially if you haven't got a work mobile phone and you've got a personal mobile phone, and then you're moving that to an uncontrolled environment. No security tools. So the chance of it getting detected is malicious. Yeah. So yes, look, that's a really interesting one. Thanks, Hoxhunt, for sharing. Unlogged work hours notification, completely customized and branded. Again, it's out of the norm. It's different. It's a wrong way of working. It's okay to question that. And thanks to the threat intel team at Hoxhunt for sharing. So we'll have another one next week.
That's cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing it. It's interesting though, but at first glance doesn't look too special, but then when we thought about it a bit harder, there's two big signs there that make it kind of work. Yeah. That's cool.
Right. Let's get on with some topics. I have some things I wanted to share this week. The first one, I can't even remember what this was. Oh, do you know what? I saw this last week straight after we finished recording, and I was like, oh, that would have been really good. So I saved it. And this is an Instagram video, and I'll play it. It's really, really short. Let me just reload this. So I saw this on Instagram, and I thought this was brilliant. Here we go. Right. So this is a picture of a locked gate, and it says user admin, password admin. So the padlock is locked and it's screwed to a brick, but the whole brick's loose. So you can just move the brick and open the gate. I thought that's an example of like password and username admin. I thought that was a really fun video. Really simple, but just goes to show how, it looks really secure. No, it's not. There's a million, is that poor infrastructure? That's an infrastructure issue. That's not an IT. I don't know. Yeah. I thought
it's quite funny because, I'm sure. I mean, it's a pretty beat up wall and gate, but you kind of see the padlock and think, it's secured. But when you start poking, it's not.
You would. You'd see it looks legit, but it isn't legit almost. Yeah. The next one I saw this week is a post on Reddit. And this the Reddit post has been updated since I first saw it, but I'm going to share it anyway because I think it's still interesting and it's still a valid point. So this was on a subreddit called You Should Know. And let me just make this a bit of a better size here. There we go. So you should know that free file converter websites like I Love PDF set 637 cookies from 221 domains when you upload a single document. So why should you know? If you've ever converted a PDF, merged documents, or compressed images using free online tools, your files were likely processed on servers surrounded by dozens of ad networks and tracking scripts. Knowing this helps you make better decisions. Now, the disclaimer on this is written by someone that's built a site promoting safe online tools that don't track you and don't share your data, apparently. So this is a bit of it's an advert for this, but this kind of went viral, 19,000 upvotes, 558 comments. And he's come back and said, I Love PDF reached out to correct my original post that inaccurately stated their servers were deeply integrated with advertising infrastructure. That was wrong. So they hold ISO 27001 certification. So I Love PDF, ISO 27001, they've ticked their compliance boxes, job done. But it does raise a really important point about be careful who you share your data with. You need something done quickly. You need to convert a PDF. That's a really common use case that a lot of organizations will struggle with. I need to convert a file. Gee, I was doing it yesterday with PSD files because the computer I was using didn't have Photoshop installed. So I went to Photopea and uploaded a Photoshop file just so I could convert it to a PNG and download it. without really thinking about it, I've just given that file to Photopea, and I don't know who's got access to that file now. Sat on a server somewhere in the world doing something.
Hopefully get deleted or something. But
hopefully.
You never
It was
know.
just a photo. It was just a photo of you. Don't worry, it's not a problem. It wasn't really.
Yeah.
But this is, I thought this was a really interesting point to raise, because you don't know. People will they'll Google a tool, they'll Google something like convert, another common one, convert, and the IT companies make these problems. Like HEIC photo files is a common one that I struggle with, because you can't, you can't open them on Windows by default or something? There's another one, I think it's MKV files you need to download the codec for to play on Windows native media player that isn't Windows Media Player anymore. Stuff like that. Like, these problems are introduced by these software companies. Like, that's Windows' fault, Microsoft's fault. I can't open an HEIC file natively on a Windows device or something like that. I'm sure that was the problem. Not an advert for this, but this was linked. This is the site everyone's saying on that thread. All online tools in one box. Fast, free, privacy-friendly tools for developers, designers, and everyone. No sign-up, no limits, and no tracking. Use these at your own risk. This is not an endorsement, but it's interesting here that there is a site that claims, to have collated lots of different tools that you can use freely. QR code generator, that's an interesting one. Let's see if it is an actual proper. We talked a while ago about risky generator. Let's run with it. Why not? We talked a while ago about QR codes and how generating a QR code went through a third-party redirection service. That works. Risky, it goes directly to the URL. So,
there's another
someone.
So I was saying the top comment as well on that Reddit, talking about convert to it platform as well. There's another free one again.
Yes.
User
open source project. Wow.
Huge amount of
that's really cool.
Supported types.
Yeah. I mean, what have you got there? Pings, JPEGs, WebPs. WebPs is another one as well. Like, a lot of web images are now WebP, but you download them. It does video, it does audio. Use at your own risk. It's not an endorsement. But this stuff's out there, and the users in your business will be looking for stuff like this. Probably not these safe solutions that we're flagging. So it might be
top Google result or sponsored ad.
Yeah, they will. They will. So, yes, I thought that was interesting. Lastly, I have a video, and I remember sharing this. Look, I'm going to play this. I might cut this out depending on how I perceive it watching it again. But I'm going to share this with you because I thought this was relevant to training. All the training and education we do and the security messaging we do. Let me play this and see what you get of this. This is a video. Again, this just came up on my algorithm. This is a video from someone called Spirit Biology. Not advocating them at all. It's an interview with John Cleese, who himself, comedy legend, but has had some controversial views over the past few years. I think he's a bit Marmite now, but this says you need self-awareness to realise you lack skills, which I thought is quite interesting when we're saying, why are people clicking on links? Why aren't people doing what we expect of them from a security perspective? Let me just play this. It's not very long.
Very, very stupid. How can you possibly realise that you're very, very stupid? You'd have to be relatively intelligent to realise how stupid you are. There's a wonderful bit of research by a guy called David Dunning, or now he's a friend of mine on Friday stuff, who's pointed out that in order to know how good you are at something, it requires exactly the same skills as it does to be good at that thing in the first place, which means, and this is terribly funny, that if you're absolutely no good at something at all, then you lack exactly the skills that you need to know that you're absolutely no good at it. If you're
So basically saying that if you lack, the reason you're not doing the reason you don't know, if you're stupid, you don't know you're stupid because you don't have the ability to know you're stupid. But there was a connection to what we do there. And the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is something that, is often spoken about in our field. Yeah, I thought it was interesting, but maybe it's not completely relevant to what we do.
No, it's lots of sort of theories to think about, right? Maybe change the wording on some of it, but yeah.
Don't start calling people in your business stupid. That wouldn't be good advice. They just don't, like, the reason people don't behave in a secure fashion is because they don't have the knowledge to behave in a secure fashion. So you need to give them that knowledge. How you give them that knowledge is a whole conversation. I think that's the way to look at it. Yeah.
I think as well, we speak about it a lot, but just reinforcing the same message a few times in the moment as well, stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Have you got any? That's me done this week. That's my topics done. Have you got anything?
Cool. I have a video to share about PayPal scam. I think this is a bit of an old post. I don't remember if we spoke about this one. But I'll play the video and we can sort of see what they say.
It worked.
If you use Gmail, then scammers have a way to open fake accounts with your real email address just by adding a dot. Here's how the scam works and what to do about it.
Let's say your email address is your full name. In our case, it's peterpan@gmail.com. So what they're doing, they're going to PayPal and create a new account with your email address. But they added a dot. You might ask, why?
Dots don't matter in Gmail addresses. This is directly from the Gmail Help Center, where it says that even if somebody accidentally adds a dot into your email address, you will still get the email. So then what happens? Up until this point, you're clueless. But then one day you receive an official email from PayPal asking you to either confirm your email address or it's a welcome email for an account that you never created. And naturally you think, why the heck am I getting this? Boom, within seconds, you get a second email. And this is the scam. This one won't come from the same official PayPal domain, but since it looks extremely real and you've already verified the sender on the first one, you might be less likely to check on this second one. What will probably happen if you click this link is they're asking for your password or to verify with other details and ultimately trying to gain access to your account.
This wouldn't be an oh heck no video if we wouldn't give you some tips on what to do. Step number 1 is obviously don't click any links on any email. Step number 2, go to your email header and check to which email address it was sent to. This must be your real email address and not the one with the dot. Step number 3, go to the PayPal app and check for unusual activity.
Unusual.
I see the UN.
And follow us to stay 2 steps ahead.
So yeah.
I love the way they've done that video. Just calling that out, the way they've presented that together and kind of like visually. Link to that in the newsletter. If you're listening to us, we'll put a link to that. It's a really nice visual. I mean, it's not sharp production. It's using TikTok's green screen, so it's all a bit fuzzy around the edges, but just the way they've casually presented that and pointed out stuff, really nicely done. And again, I haven't really thought about that before, but so there you've got the 2-step attack with, the first email's genuine, the second email's not, designed to get you to interact with the one that's not. And the dot in the username, I mean, I knew that was a thing, but I'd never really thought about people creating accounts, fake accounts using the dots.
Yeah.
Which, that's you can also use a plus at the end, and not everywhere lets you use plus signs in email addresses, but you can, like if I had antdavis@gmail.com, which I don't, that's someone else's email address. But if I went Ant Davis plus sign PayPal@gmail.com, I would still get that email as well. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
One for Gmail users. It reminded me.
It's that second step of attack, though, isn't it? Again, and we spoke about that already. It's not that first. We spoke about that with the phishing. Like it's what happens after the event, and that's the thing. The first email is genuine. Shortly after you receive a second email, so you're already kind of heightened. But that second email, you kind of trust it because you trusted the first one. That assumed trust is there. It's dodgy.
Yeah, I guess the timing and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
quite important there.
And all of that can be automated now. Like with AI, you can literally workflows, commands, like it probably could before AI, it was all just machine learning or, if this, then that. But there's not necessarily a human there doing all of these actions. It can all be automated. So, at scale.
Yeah, no, it's, one to look out for.
Yeah.
That was it.
Right. Awesome. Okay. Well, I think that's us done for this week. Brilliant. Okay, lovely. Lots of good stuff there. Lots of interesting stuff, and I feel like some new stuff. So that's cool. It's not. Some weeks it feels like we're talking about the same thing again and again, but I feel like I've come away learning something today, or more than one thing. There's a couple of new things there that have got me thinking. So that's good.
Yeah. That's cool.
Right. Thank you very much. See you.
Yeah, thank you.
See you next week.
See you later.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.